People of Reddit, what is the creepiest thing that happened to you while home alone? My dog was very restless. But I figured she just wanted to go outside. As we get closer to the door she begins to growl and her hackles raised. Idiot me still opened the door. Hello masked stranger. I lucked out, the guy took off running. Imagine being that guy. The last thing he was expecting was for someone to calmly open the door with their attack dog at the ready. You shook his confidence lol. I got a phone call asking how my TV was holding up. I thought it was just the company we bought it from checking up on it and doing their normal customer support stuff until I was told exactly what channel I was watching. I asked who it was on the phone and they said, don't worry, I can see you but you can't see me. I was 9 at the time and my parents were out of town for work, so my older sister, 17 at the time, got us all to hide in my parents' closet with the guns and we called the police. When they arrived they called us to let us know it was them knocking on the door. They found footprints but no person. We installed security cameras not soon after and never had a problem again, but it still creeps me out to this day. This happened to my mom. She grew up in Wichita, Kansas while the BTK serial killer was active. The house of one of his first victims was down her block. But one day she was home with her brother. She was upstairs in her room and he was downstairs. Apparently he heard a noise in the backyard moments before the power cut out. This was one of the key things that BTK did before entering the home. She just knew the power went out, then heard her brother scream and yelled for her to run away. She hopped out her window and sprinted barefoot to Pizza Hut a couple blocks away. She called the police who went to the house but didn't find anything and everything turned out fine. Really quick thinking on your uncle's part. Home alone when I was 10 or 12, somewhere in between there. My parents' house is located in the suburbs surrounded by woods and the golf course. It was a stormy night and my parents went out for dinner. I was watching TV in the living room with my dog on my lap when all of a sudden she jumps up and sprints to the front door barking. She never barks. My dad trained her since she had a very loud annoying bark dart. I walk over and turn on the outside light to see nobody. As soon as I did this she sprinted to the back living room by the pool with sliding glass doors and starts barking over there like someone was inside the screened pool area. I run over and turn the pool lights on. Empty. I started to get kinda freaked out. She then ran to the garage door barking like she was going to rip someone's face off. I grab a knife from the kitchen and open the garage door to hear the rain and see the main garage door wide open. I immediately shut the garage door and slammed the inside door behind me, grabbed my dog and ran into my room, locking the door and going into the closet. I waited in there what felt like 3 hours for my parents to get home. I told them everything and my dad went outside to find what looked like new muddy footprints around the garage and pool area. Nothing else ever came about from it, but man, I got the chills typing that out. Freaky experience. I used to stay home alone a lot because both parents worked and always wanted a dog to keep me company, be my alarm. Never happened of course because my mom didn't want a dog. Well, one day I was babysitting my stepsister's little old Westie and we were home alone. She freaked out and started growling and barking. I noticed there's a car in front of our house. Then she ran to the garage door and was growling there. Turned out one of my mom's friends thought it'd be a good idea to come into the garage to drop something off but got scared off by the dog. Who the duck thinks it's a good idea to just walk into someone's house like that? I'm so glad that dog was with me. I kept everything locked all the time since then and pretended I wasn't home. This is years later and we have dogs now. It's incredibly nice to have a dog alarm system. Once boyfriend and I move out on our own again, I'm getting a nice big monster dog. Our little one will bark and growl like mad, but the bigger one is on the quiet side and not very confrontational. A man was standing outside on my lawn about 6 years ago in the middle of the day. Freaked me the feck out. Found out he lives next to my house. Same guy, same place. He knocks on my door and asks me if I've seen his cat. I hadn't and asked what it looked like for future reference. He then looks me in the eyes, dead serious, and says, "I don't know," and then stares at me in silence for 30 seconds. Last story. After a snowstorm, I went outside and saw bare, human footprints leading from my yard to his house up a hill. This guy's freaky. We all know the cats at 3 a.m. meme where your cat starts running around the house and making a huge ruckus in the middle of the night for no reason whatsoever. Yeah. All cats do that. No big deal. Well, one night my cat was doing that, and since it was pretty common I just ignored it. Cats do it and it's normal. I was downstairs and not asleep yet, and my cat was upstairs. It kept going for a little while but I paid no attention to it until I heard glass shatter. I went upstairs to check on my cat and see what broke. My cat was sound asleep. Nothing was broken. It literally wasn't 30 seconds after I heard something break that I stood up and went upstairs, and my cat was sleeping like a baby. When I went to go pick her up, she did that stretch and yawn thing that cats do after waking up from a long nap, and she had obviously been asleep for quite some time. I never found any broken glass. Weird stuff. I had a dog that suddenly jumped awake at night and went absolutely ape. He ran to the rear of the house, barking, growling, hair standing on end. We're talking full-on fight to the death mode here. I tried walking back to see what the problem was, but he wouldn't let me past him, kept blocking my way. I did hear a couple strange sounds like maybe the house was settling, but nothing out of the ordinary. He was acting like whatever he was seeing or hearing was inside the house, not outside. He wasn't looking out a window, he was blocking the hallway to the laundry room and backing up like something was slowly advancing on him. After a while he calmed down, the supposed threat went away. It was probably about 10 minutes of pretty intense growling and barking though. Even after he calmed down, he still wouldn't let me go down that hall until daylight. When I finally did, I couldn't see anything unusual. I still have no idea what set him off, but whatever it was, he was not okay with it. He was honestly acting like he was going to die, but was damn sure taking whatever it was with him. My chihuahua sleeps right outside my bedroom door, and I usually leave the door open because he likes to look inside to see I'm still in there since he is a needy little. I don't let my dogs inside my room, and they know about this boundary and never cross it without permission. One night, I was gaming a bit before bed and he suddenly went ape and walked backwards inside the room while barking at something in the hall, which was unlit. I was wearing headphones so I first only saw from the corner of my eye his little bed wiggling in, so I turned to scold him when I noticed his posture and how he was barking his little head off. I peeked to see what he was barking at. My other two dogs don't usually come inside at night, but I thought it might be them, but saw nothing and he seemed scared of me walking into the hall. He obviously couldn't stop me, but he kept positioning himself in front of me and nudging me back. I noped back into my room, pulled his bed inside and locked the door. He stayed up for what I assume was the rest of the night, looking at the door, because he was more or less in the same position after I woke up. He sniffed around a bit in the hall when we went out and went his merry way. I still have no idea what set him off like that, but I've had weird stuff happening on that hall before and after this incident. What kind of weird stuff? Doors slamming shut, then opening, things go missing, then appear somewhere else. I've heard people whispering, or my name being called, although I've heard this is a not so uncommon occurrence, heard laughter, felt taps on my shoulder or my legs and feet. The most unexplainable thing I've had happen was also at night before going to bed. I flicked the hall light switch off and went into my room. As I closed it, it switched back on. Thought I didn't nudge it all the way, so I went back to turn it off. Once again, it turned back on as I entered my room. I tried a third time, and that time it switched back on as soon as I pressed it to go off. Thought, duck it, if whatever it is wants to have the light on, let it, and went to bed. Why am I reading this before sleep? Saturday morning, 1970s. Dad is at work and my mom and sister went shopping for groceries. I was in the bath when the house was broken into. I froze, trying not to make a sound as I heard someone creeping through the house. Then heard them try to open the bathroom door just as the doorbell rang. It was Mom hoping I'd open the front door because her arms were overloaded with grocery bags. She saw a shadow through the stained glass beside the front door go downstairs. I think that was the one time I'd never been happier to see my mum. I was 9.